upstairs. They were arguing. They usually fight, so they know. So let's just say allegedly, Adura also confirmed that fight. Um, the driver confirmed the fight. Sandy confirmed the fight. So his prime boy too confirmed the fight, even though he didn't say it was physical at that point. You understand? So what I'm saying is that anything when it comes to toxic relationship, it can lead to you buying. Zomo also came out and said, if you are in a place that you are not loved, leave, run for your life. So it means that this relationship was very, very toxic, very toxic, and maybe she may not have meant to mistakenly buy him, but it was better if she allegedly came out and said, oh, if there was a fight or he and I, other women will just point the blame on the guy and say, oh, he always used to beat me, so it's self-defense. But the way the narrative came about, that is what you and we are staying here. Okay, back to Mr. Prince. Mr. Prince, welcome back.
Yeah, thank you. Please, once again, my sincere apology. It's data network. Yeah, quickly, if I can get you right, you asked like 3 questions. The first one is, as a thing, that is a natural or something I've led to is dead, if I'm right. That's the first question. Then the second question.
No. The first question, you answered the first question. I only had 2 questions. So then this is my second question that the line was breaking in. I was saying that with everything that you have analyzed, because when I came to the platform, I heard you speaking about you being at the body site. You have gone to view the body. You have read some part of the autopsy. And so my question to you is that with everything that you have analyzed, would you come to a conclusion that, or would you pursue to say MOHBAD died of a natural cause, or he died and let's just say there was a foul play? Because the natural cause, let me just explain this into you, right? Because I see that maybe you are good in the medical field. A natural cause would be where a nurse came, like we are all hearing that a nurse came to inject him and stuff because he needed medical attention. And whatsoever that nurse, the mistake that nurse made that led to his dying, that nurse could be held for it. But where there's a foul play would be, and somebody, deliberately or tempted, deliberately buy him or find a way to murder him. So that's my question. What do you think is a foul play or is a natural cause of medical death?
If I have to go by the 2 reports, it shows that there is a foul play somewhere. The reason why I'm saying that is this. The first thing that make that suspicious is the government report, which is not in depth. Please, I'm going according to what I have, not about what people say up and down, please. Then secondly,
we don't want to hear what we don't want to feel on our own selfish game, because we want justice. We want the truth. That's the truth we want.
Yeah. Then secondly, why I said there is a foul play somewhere is that if at any point in time the autopsy or toxicology is saying that there is a substance, this chemical and this chemical, or this substance and this substance, their reaction in a body can lead to someone to whine. So we'll give him. And a B to that is that When it happens, people who are around him, what do? They can, let me say, they can be a catalyst of death to that reaction, and they can be a savior from that effect. Then, thirdly, is this. It is very, very. Well, okay. Sorry, please. Sorry, please. Sorry, please. Come to the house next one. Yeah, so sorry, my sincere apologies. Yeah. So the last one, which is the top thing, is this. There is a sign of negligence. If you remember that either we like it or not, something was administered, which is equal to the first ones and the second one I've said. And when that reaction happened, why is it that water have to come in? Why water have to come in? So those are the suspicious moves. You are not a professional about some things, and you have to do this. Who did you consult? Who tell you to do this? So those are according to this report. Those are according to this report. But to be able to ascertain some things, some real fact, more than this report, is this. Neurosurgeons have to, in one way or the other, do their own forensic or their own toxicology on it. So with that, it will answer some of these questions that that many of us will be asking. I've sent this report to critical thinkers, and I know that they'll be able to handle it. They'll be able to do some justice to it. So, yeah, they are see a professional work will definitely be different. There are some things that you won't hear them saying.
Mr. Prince, you said something, right? You said something about trauma. You said something about trauma. Did the autopsy said anything about trauma? Did he take anything like a drug before? And that's my first question again. And I have another question again to ask you. Did he? Would you say what you read? Do you think there's any drug? That compared with what the nurse gave him?
Yeah, so this is how this thing works. Tramadol, it can easily cause seizure, right? Which have to do with.
I heard you explain about what tramadol does. What I'm asking is that did he actually take tramadol? Was there a sign of tramadol within the autopsy?
Of course, there is. Of course, that's what the private autopsy. That is part of what he gave to me. That's what I can see. That's what I can read from it. You get, so it's one of the elements that we can see in there. We have benzodiazepine. We have alcohol. All these things, they are something that when they are reacting in one way or the other, it leads to respiratory depression. All those stuff. We call it CNS. So it's something that is very, very important. So if all these elements, the combination of these elements is deadly, it's
okay. My next question would be, I want to ask is that according to the police report, right? According to the police report, there were 5 syringes, right? There was 5 syringes, and the nurse, according to the nurse, she administered three injections. Were those two still having the medication in it? Or were those two also used, or the 5 syringes were, I want to know if it was just three used.
Let me shock you a bit. The private report, inside it is noted that even the syringes were not given to this private pathologist for them to carry out either autopsy or toxicology. So it wasn't even given to them. So it was with the police. They asked for it, but it wasn't released. Maybe Nigerian factors has happened there. Maybe, or let me use the word allegedly.
Allegedly, yeah.
Right. So things happen. So if an exhibit was not given, there's no way they could have known, okay, out of these 5 syringes, this is what 3 is for, and this is what 1, and the second one is for. So it's very, very hard for someone to just come up with this what each syringe is for. And apart from that, it is very, very, if I may use my sense of thinking, because if you remember, 3 things were made mention by police report or by the government autopsy. But there are some things that were not made mention of. Number one, the level. Let's go and check it. Go and try it. The level of the dosage, either in mg or in L, it wasn't made mention. Secondly, there are some elements, some substance that were not made mention in government autopsy that is coming up on this private autopsy. So, yeah, I think that's just it.
Mr. Prince, okay, thank you for what you have answered, well said, and I appreciate it. I like the way you're breaking things down. But my other question to you will be, if you have read about if you have read the autopsy, and within the autopsy we have something like tramadol and whatsoever medicine you are talking, whatsoever drug that you're talking about, and then let's just say that the nurse administered 3 injections, right? Why is it that the result is coming inconclusive? Why are they reading an inconclusive report at the court? And why is it that Baba's own private autopsy is saying unascertained? Because I can't wrap my head around it. Because if what you were saying that MOHBAD had tramadol in his system, alcohol in his system. He also had another thing you called.
Yeah, you see, I've put a lot of questions together. I've put a lot of questions together, and I've categorized them. The one that is responsible to the pathologist, the one that is responsible to even the legal team. Are you getting my point? But however, even the government side as well. But the facts remain this. It's possible that there are discrepancy about all this report that is coming up, which both are saying, oh, they can't ascertain the cause of death. Even the time of death, none of them were able to ascertain it. But one thing that my intelligence tells me is that if we try as much as possible to do neurotoxin evaluation, it's possible that we ascertain all this. It's possible that we ascertain all this. So, and I can tell you that either we like it or not, even if we want to do reassessment of toxicology, I can easily tell you they will still scatter that boy. They will scatter him more. In fact, I don't know if we'll be able to have something to put inside the coffin. You get my point? So,
Yeah.
for example, if neurotoxin evaluation will be done, it means like something that have to do with the brain, or something just have to be picked from it, and then they do forensic review board on it as well. So with that, we should, in one way or the other, be able to ascertain some valuable information. The truth, to be sincere with you, when I saw the report, the second report, I firstly threw off like, no, how can, no, with all this, with the capacity at which this pathology have, how can they be giving a report, the cause of death not being ascertained, the time and then the date not being ascertained? It just give a frame like, okay, maybe in the early hour of on the 12th, and I'm like, how? So, but if it is possible, that we have neurotoxin evaluation and then we have forensic review board, if the both sit down, it's possible that we have something meaningful, something valuable as to unravel the death of Ilerioluwa.
Okay, Mr. Prince, our question well answered and stuff. Thank you for answering all my questions. But I just want to throw light on what I see as I want to just um, say what I see. You have answered and you have answered well, and I appreciate you. Um, what I see is that I think if all these things that you have read that Mobad had tramadol in his system, he had alcohol in his system, and he had other combination of drug in his system. I see that if he actually had those things in his system, um, they would have shown up in the autopsy from the get go, and I don't think you myself will be here. I think there is something that that is still not making sense. Um, there is something that is still not making sense about that drug being in his system because if it would have been in his system, like I said, it would have been revealed in the first government autopsy, but now autopsy would have been a case, a closed case, if you know what I mean. And it would have been a closed case. Allegedly, I would say, I want to feel that it's something that they just injected in him these few times to get that result, to get to that point that did the first autopsy ever say that Moba had did the government autopsy said that Moba had tramadol and alcohol in whatsoever you are calling in his system? Let's collaborate that.
You you just want me to be sincere. I don't want to go through the all this.
Okay.
So hold on. You see, I quite understand your question very, very well. I quite understand. You see, when it comes to logical reason, I don't want to bring it so much into any scientific report or scientific report. I try as much as possible because you see, at any point in time, there is ethics on every profession. But the fact there is this. Logically, look at it from this angle. There are 5 syringes. 3 were being mentioned to be used, and the substance was being used, but not at which level, not at any level, either by mg or by L, either milliliter or by milligram, right? The remaining 2 were said were not being used. Who know what the substance is? That is one. Secondly, the 5 syringes that are supposed to be an exhibit were not released to the private toxicologists. In the real sense, this is their own findings. That's just been logic. I want to work around the report I have. Do you get my point?
Yeah, so you don't have to go. I know the questions that I'm asking is deep, but
It's
you don't
very,
have to
very, very deep.
Yes, you don't have to. You don't have to go. You don't have to say what you don't need to say here, right now. And because another thing that came to my knowledge is that the way that they even exhume him, right? The way that they exhume him means that the government also needs to be asked questions. Because when exhuming someone, you need to have photographers. They needed to have some photographers. Police needed to be at the scene, doing some photo shoot of the body and whatsoever. Every inch of that body needed to be, pictures needed to be taken. Axes, they are removing him from the grave site. Every inch of every shovel that entered the ground, they needed to take a picture. As it's going closer to the grave, to the coffin, they needed to take a photo of everything that they were doing. You understand? And those that even, I mean, this is a superstar, for God's sake. I don't understand what is going on in Nigeria right now, but MOHBAD is just not an ordinary citizen of Nigeria. This is a boy that puts Nigeria on the map.
King of the South.
Yes,
King of the South. You don't have to overstress yourself about this. See, this is a state case. Are you getting my point? But the question there is, what will have warranted a state to form a back off? One question, what will warrant, on which condition will warrant a state to back off? That's one. Secondly, what could have warranted a state to handle his case at this level, or at this, I don't know how to call it, like this? So either we like it or not, in the report, yeah, it make mention of people who are there when they are taking samples, all those stuff. But the fact remains that this is not something that even the public supposed to be debating on for this long. So I will leave it there, and let's see what will come out from Corona Inquest today. To be sincere with you, I'm looking forward, to a lot of questioning, a lot of more of interrogation today, because the pathologists will be at the court today, and finger crossed.
Okay, sir. Prince. Anyway, I'm King of the South, and I would love to have a conversation with you someday, very soon.
I'm a small boy. I just do my things in my
no, don't worry about it. It doesn't matter. It's the wisdom
My guy is the one beside me.
Queen Molly. I know.
She's queen as well. Oh,
yeah. That's our boss, though.
So
you and I, that's our boss. So I'm grateful for having you, and I love your intellect, and I would love to have a conversation like this with you after the inquest. I'm not sure which platform that you usually go to, but I'm gonna give you a follow, and I'm gonna give you a follow, and then I hope you and I, we can, because I'm not a Nigerian, by the way. I'm not a Nigerian, by the way. And I'm, if you don't feel the death of MOHBAD, and you are not a human, you are not a human. And I mean, it's like a lot of times I've chosen to let it go, but there's something about this case that always brings you back, because you do not want this thing to happen to your children in the future. God forbid, you do not want that. And it sets in a lot of thinking, a lot of reflection on whom that maybe they will come and stand in front of you tomorrow and say, "Hey, Oga, I want to marry your daughter. Oga, I want to marry your son. I mean, I'm in love with your son, or your son wants to marry me." Because it could have gone the other way around. And I don't think that MOHBAD would have been, but now MOHBAD would have been cancelled. I want to believe so. Even if he had a connection, he would have been cancelled. And because a lot of people would have think that he actually allegedly he used his wife for money rich, let's just say fame ritual or something like that, for him to become successful or something like that. If it would have been the other way around, and I think MOHBAD would have been in a lot of trouble by now. By now, MOHBAD wouldn't have been walking on the streets. I believe so. But I don't know how Nigeria works, but
Think of this out.
yes.
Let me uh, complement what you've said. You see, there are some of us that it's not that we are not in a safer place, or we didn't have what we are doing, but we see a reason why we have to show a concern about the death of MOHBAD. Not even because he's a star or is an oncoming star, but I will make this clear. Number one, it has been written that this is how it's going to be. Either we like it or not, either we believe it or not. That's one. Secondly, it's because of the level of injustice that we have in our country. No matter anywhere we are in abroad, one day we think about going back home. In one way or the other, if you say that you are a Nigerian and you have not undergo in one way or the other a bullying whereby you didn't have justice for it, it is very, very rare, or let me say at a very low percentage, either by the police or by the government. What you are entitled to is not being given to you. Then thirdly, it's not only about music industry that is full of all these things. Even in private organization, we see all these things happening, and the boss will tell you, go to hell. There is nothing you are going to do. One day, jello. These are facts. These are things that we see in Western world not happening, that we want to remove from our country. The judiciary system have their own things. Let even in one way or the other, don't let us even go to the legislator. I'm telling you, the executive have their own part of it, which is in one way or the other a big issue and a big question, to especially to we that we are in diaspora, that what can we do about all these things? And it starts with every one of us. If you go to Nigeria today, what exact thing is happening with them? As many of them lost it. If a governor will say that we've spent a tax paid money on the issue about MOHBAD. Have we ever even checked it? If a governor who said that is it the first person that will die, we have to check it. So what exactly is going on? And that's the reason why that you see many of us coming into this like, no, it shouldn't be like this. And I'll give kudos to many Nigerians that see this as nothing, that see this as is unnecessary. Many of Nigerians have seen we can't get any result from all these things. That is a waste of time. And I'm working to tell them it's a matter of time. It is a matter of time. The truth will come up, either we like it or not. So I think that's just the reason why I say
Thank you so much again. As you speak, that's that's why I don't really come up too much. Um, when I hear someone speak logic, a lot of deep thinking, they go directly into deep thinking. So like you have spoken well, and I would say, okay, so let's assume that everything that has happened was actually the nurse that pied Mohbad mistakenly or maybe intentionally. Let's just assume allegedly. So why is it that everyone in that house or within the cycle of Mohbad are running head scatter? Why are they changing from one narrative to one narrative? Another person just got up and sent a message to Yomi, telling Yomi that, oh, I was there when yeah, when my when CY pushed my brother to the floor.
That's all. Please mute. That's all. Please mute. Sorry.
Knowing
You can continue, King of Songs.
okay, knowing very well that it is a nurse or Mohbad took in some drug and then he because I don't understand why would his wife say he was fine. Everybody was saying he was fine, he was good. Okay, maybe he could have been battling something within himself or battling with a disease, God forbid, with a disease that we did not know about, that trigger the reaction of his, or like you said, tramadol and whatsoever was in his system. So who are they running from? Who are they afraid of? Who are they afraid of to is the nurse does the nurse belong to a cartel? Does the nurse belong to a cortex group? Does the nurse, is the nurse that powerful that the wife will come up and say that they want to buy her? Is the industry goes? Is this person? It is Baba. It is what do you call it? It is Prime Boy. I mean, you see, that's what I don't get. So that's why I said, you don't understand. Because if the government toxicology or their report did not come with this, because all these things you're saying right now, it's my first time hearing it. I've been on this case from the past, let's just say, almost 2 years. I started this case like September, I think September, October 2023. I've been on this case for a very long time. So I'm a very good listener. I take things in and digest it before I come out and speak. And I'm not like, I think for myself because why? I know who I am. Maybe a lot of people don't know me. Nobody knows me. Yeah. But I'm somebody that takes things in, digests it, and you know, recycle it, come back to refine it to make sure that anything that I say or anything that I want to ask, it will make sense. And anything that I want to say, it will make sense because all of these things doesn't make sense at all. With it doesn't align with the toxicology. It doesn't align with the autopsy. The people's behavior does not align with what happened to Mohbad. Like this is the only case that I've gone through and realized that a lot of things doesn't make sense. They say a lot of things that doesn't, yeah, it doesn't make sense. Even from the government to the police, from the police to the what do you call it? To the people, the 15 persons that were in the house, to the family members, like nothing they say that makes sense at all.
King of the South. King of the South. Let me quickly give you this so that you understand. I've been to a position of power before. I've read a lot of books. And I know how things work. You see, it's a very simple thing, which we call divide and rule. Divide and rules. Divide and rules, I've seen it, is even more than the game of chess. More than the game of chess. It seems to be used on many of them. People of influence may be on this case, which in one way or the other may have reached out. That's one. Secondly, the fact is, don't expect them, all of those people in that house, to give you the same report. It's not possible. And that's the reason why we need a private forensic, a private investigators on this case. With the way Nigerian police, I can tell you, if it is Northumbria police that have handled this case, if it is Manchester police that have handled this case, don't even go about police themselves that have handled it. Sincerely, this case will not be more than 6 months. I'm telling you, it won't be more than 6 months.
Prince, I'm not cutting you off, right? I have police in my family, right? I have military in my family, right? And with my own experience and what I've in my own field, right? We have the moment I drew the case, I didn't have to even go far with the case, right? I know that there's someone very powerful in this case, but people, whenever you say this, people say, "Oh no, put aside someone powerful. How can this girl be?" Okay, what sense does it make that someone that they suspect a spouse that they suspect that the public suspect that there's a foul play within five, right? Would be in petition. All along, her father-in-law have been petitioned. He went there. He went to the police. The brother-in-law has been petitioned. He went to the police. And those around her has been petitioned. They went to the police, but she was petitioned and she denied the police petition. And allegedly there's a warrant for arrest for her, and she moves out freely without being questioned. She moves out freely without being asked or harassed, even though she comes out and said that she's not living her life. But you can literally see that she's she's moved. She has moved on. Maybe the only thing that maybe conscience minded, that conscience her, is when she realized that, oh, when she catch up to herself and say, oh, my husband is still laying in the morgue. So when that reflection hit her, what does she do? What does she do? Excuse me for my English. What does she do? She comes back and says she wants the husband to be buried. Before this autopsy, how did Mohbad's mother? Because some people were explaining on this before. According to her own Yoruba, she was speaking, right? How did Mohbad mother says that there will be nothing found in that autopsy? How did Mohbad mother know? Unless there is someone that is already within the system, within the group, because I will always say that if your house does not sell you, the streets will not buy you, right? So how did Mohbad mother get to know that there's nothing in that autopsy? Because the woman already knew there was nothing within that autopsy. But when the wife went to the this thing,
King, because I want to leave and then join back. But let me just drop this before I leave.
Yeah, me too. I'll be leaving when you leave. Yeah.
No, please, you just have to keep the conversation going. Yeah, the only single thing there is that I want you to know is that, you see, the CIA of this case have been breached for a very long time. The CIA of this case has been breached for a very long time. The confidentiality, the accountability or accuracy, the integrity has been breached for a very long time. But God will have it. Mohbad is a spirit on his own that will put hand in the mouth of people. He will make them to be a writer. He will make them to be a mouthpiece for a resolution. It will make them to a level whereby they will become a warrior in exposing, unravel a lot of things above, or let me say beyond, the case of Mohbad itself. And that's where I'm going to drop that note. And that's what this case is all about. So I believe that you understand when
I totally understand. Trust me, I totally understand because that's why people go. A lot of people go. They go, they come back, right? Like me, right? I've been on this case. And like I said from the beginning, right? I've been on this case, but there was one day that as soon as his wife came up with her interviews, there was something that struck within me, and I think yeah. People say that they don't believe in ghosts and stuff like that. That maybe ghosts don't exist. I think ghosts can exist if God permits God, because God is the creator of everything, and I think He permits because like what in the book of Job, right? He said that when Satan asked him, say, when Satan appeared in front of him, he said, "Where have you been, Lucifer?" He said, "I've been roaming around." But would you consider your servant Job as a loyal and trusted servant? And God said, "Yeah, I consider that man as my loyal and faithful servant." You can do it if you think you can try Job, because God already knew his heart. It's like that's what I'm saying. Like God already know everything, right? He knows everything. So at the end of the day, what I'm going to say is that we all, you understand, we all leave this case. We all leave this case at a certain point. But because of whatsoever yeah, Prince, we all have to come back in a way. We come back in a way. Like I said, before I did that documentary, it was not something that I wanted to do. It's not something that I felt that I was going to find all the inconsistencies of MOHBAD's wife, because this one I will not say allegedly because it came from her own mouth, and everything that I said on that short documentary came from her CTC and her own mouth. Everything that she said, it came from her own mouth. So that's what I'm going to say. But at the end of the day, we all leave from this case, but we come back to this case because we are human. We are human, and we feel that pain. We feel that pain that if we lost someone, I'm like I said, I'm not a Nigerian. I'm not a Nigerian. Maybe a lot of people are gonna say, "Oh, you are not a Nigerian. It's not in your place to come and be talking for justice for MOHBAD and stuff like that." But didn't people talk for George Floyd? Did people, for non-American, non-Black Americans, they did not protest for all over Africa, all over the world? Whites, Black, Asians, everybody were protesting for George Floyd. Because why? There's still some humanitarian behavior in us. There's still some humanitarian feelings in us. There's still some feelings that, yeah, I'm a human. If someone should slap me in the face, I'm gonna feel it as the same as maybe they did to George Floyd. So you understand? I mean, I do this. I come on platforms because why? I feel the pain of MOHBAD. You understand, and I feel he's not resting. He's still not resting after 2 years. He's still not resting. I don't know if it's true that this content that we usually see on TV, on YouTube or Facebook or TikTok, that a ghost that have pie is living somewhere else in Nigeria, or is living somewhere else in another country. Maybe MOHBAD is somewhere living in another country with his same face and his same structure, but that person that he has met, that person does not know he's the one. Maybe he's a star or he's something. Maybe he would have told that person, "I'm from Nigeria. I'm from so and so tribe. I'm from the Yoruba tribe, and yeah, I'm just a normal person." And he's around. That dude is around, bro. I shouldn't lie to any of you. He's around because you want to leave the case. You sometimes you give up, like this toxicology or this autopsy that just came up. I gave up on the case. I was like, what is the need of me being in this case? What is the need of me fighting for this? Even my fiance have told me, like, babe, forget about this. I don't think this is, I think you should just forget about this. And I'm like, okay, I'm gonna. But as soon as she leaves my house or I leave her place, I go back to my laptop and I'm searching all online. I'm looking for clues. Why am I looking for clues? It's not my work to be doing that. It's not my work. But I feel that MOHBAD is moving in a special way. He's moving in a special way. A lot of people may not think so, but this dude is moving in a special way, and because God has given him that grace, You understand? God has given him that grace, and I'm sure that he's gonna get justice. But sometimes I doubt that he's gonna get justice in a legal way because I mean, everywhere is corrupt. Even my country is corrupt. Yeah, and the poor have nothing. The poor, when it comes to Africa, the poor have no say. You know, the poor. We are always the. You understand? We will always become the tools of the rich, or you understand? But in this life, if you come across a toxic relationship, my advice to everybody is to just leave. No matter how much you love that person, no matter if you have a kid with that person, you have a kid with that person. Think about your kids because you may not be here tomorrow, and your kids will be in the hands of somebody that wouldn't even love them. It could be a man, it could be a woman. They may not love your kids because not everybody that enter in the relationship wants to be with the person's kid. They want to be in a relationship with that person and not what the person has as an attachment to them, be it family, kids, and stuff like that. So if you find somebody that loves you, genuinely loves you, don't take advantage of that love and be toxic towards that person. If you are toxic or the person is toxic, run away for your life. Because at the end of the day, God forbid, you could be like MOHBAD. You could be like MOHBAD. Yeah. So that's just my summation. Thank you all for having me here, and I'm gonna drop. Thank you.
Thank you so much, King. Thank you so much. We really appreciate you.
Okay, and I appreciate you guys.
Mommy finish. Mommy finish. Damoshe. Damoshe. Mo fẹ́ ní bóyá kò pè wọ́n lórí fóònù. Pè wọ́n lórí fóònù, mo ti pè wọ́n, wọn kì í kọ́ mi, pè wọ́n.
Thank you, everyone. God bless you. So let's check if they are already in Corona inquest. Beautiful morning to everybody in the house. Justice for MOHBAD.